Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bonfire Racing League. As I get all set up here, I am Jared Kelly. I'm going to be commentating this race for you, and we're in the Bonfire Premier Cup Series, the recruitment race before the season starts on the 7th. So trying to get some new faces in here, and we're going to see some old ones. At the moment, it looks like we've got 12 drivers in the field. Not a points race, so you're not going to get the whole field from Sunday mornings. But it is an effort to try and get some new faces on here as we are watching Dennis Puckett. But we're at Chicagoland Speedway, a 1.5-mile racetrack up in Joliet, Illinois, real close to home for me. Been there once before watching a nationwide race. So 72 degrees is the ambient temperature with 79% humidity. We are on board here for qualifying. So we look, Dennis Puckett is right now on the pole with a 30.81. Looks like David Beal moved up there with a 30.91. As for some reason, my ticker is not moving quick enough. We'll just move on from that. We'll go here. Beal came down pit road. We'll go on to Farrell Robbins, the number 13 mobile. Sharp looking paint scheme there. And it looks like maybe he was done. So I'm catching everybody at the wrong time. But we'll go on board with David Owens here as he's going to be completing his first lap. Run that middle lane. Almost washed up into the wall. Real close there. Gonna try and set a fast lap here. I'm coming out of turns 3 and 4. He's 300ths off pace right now, but can he improve? And it's top of the board for David Owens, a 30.65. Switching over to Kyle Lynott, who's leaving the pits as we speak. Seems to be the only one moving on track still. Showing Kyle Lynott as the 15, but his paint scheme's showing him as the 988. Three and 4. He's going to come across the line, try and do his first lap. He's got one more lap after this. To 4th. About 0.23 off the pace. He's going to try and get it to the bottom, carry all that speed down the hill and out of the corner. Going to use the apron, try and shortcut to the start-finish line. Cross the line. It's third quickest for Kyle Lynott. Dave Medina now out. Two-time Bonfire Premier Cup champion, warming up the tires there. Kevin Kyle came out on the racetrack. Catch him right before his last lap. And it's 5th quick for Kevin Kyle. Back over to Dave Medina for his first timed lap. Held the bottom really nice and clean through there, down to the apron. Cross the line. Up to 7th. He's got one more lap left. See if he can do anything. Out of turn number 4, the driver out of Orlando, Florida, is going to try and put it on pole. But just misses out by 0.08 of a second. Time was a 30.73 for the driver out of Orlando. Right now, I don't see anybody else on track. So I look through the field here at our new guys. I believe that is going to be it for qualifying. Here we are in the victory lane here in Charlotte or Chicago. Grandstands semi full, ready to see some action here today. Kind of an interesting venue. The back straightaway curved just slightly. It's not like your straight shot at other 1.5 miles. And I believe it should be a multi-groove racetrack. You'll see guys running up top, maybe the bottom. We'll just have to see. Looks like we're going to have a night race set up for us here. So the sun's going down right behind the grandstands. Should make it interesting for those drivers going through turns 3 and 4 with maybe the sun hitting them directly in the eyes. If I go to our tower, looks like we got 20 seconds remaining, so they're probably doing drivers meeting on the radios. David Owens, the series admin for the Bonfire Premier Cup. As we are going to lock and load here at Chicagoland. Let's see if my ticker... Okay, so yeah, it's up and working now. Try and slow it down here just a bit. We'll clean this up. We'll go to your starting grid here. It's David Owens on pole, followed by David Medina. As I got my radios open, let's close that out. We'll close off radios just for the hot minute, just for the broadcast. But yeah, it's Dave Medina rounding out that outside row for the first row. Then it's Dante Wright, Kyle and Knott there in the second row, followed by Dennis Puckett and David Buell, our Bonfire Big Truckin' Tuesday contenders. Had a really good race up at the start of it. Didn't work out well for Dennis Puckett, unfortunately. But then it's Farrell Robbins, one of the guys trying to dip his toes into the Bonfire Racing League, followed by Derek Jacobs in the 27. Steve Maddox, another one of those new guys, followed by series champion Chris Morrill. Andrew Halvorsen, I probably butchered that terribly, in the number 3 in the 11th spot, followed by Derek Sellers in the 30. We go on to our next row. We got Craig Hawkins, I believe. Maybe not. He should be in that 14th position, but SDK is kind of playing screwy with me, so see what we got here. We'll go to the grid. All those cars lined up onto the front straightaway, the fans along the fence, trying to get some up-close action to the cars on track. 120 laps is the distance for this race, so we should have around 3 different stints, 2 pit stops in there. Look to see for the pit window to be around lap 40 if they can make it. Not sure what the exact fuel number is, but around lap 40, if you can make 40 laps, you can make it to 120. But there is David Medina, the outside pole setter, 2-time Bonfire Racing champion, with Kyle Lennott right behind him. As the pace car is now moving, cars are starting to roll here on the racetrack. Andrew Halverson, last one to leave pit road. Move my mic here for a quick minute. Dennis Puckett there looking like he's ready to go. He's on the rear bumper of Dante Wright in the 33. Race fans, those pace car lights are off, so out of turn 4, that pace car is going to take a hard left turn down pit road, and David Owens is going to lead us to the green flag. Green will be on Barney, the flag man. There goes the pace car as the driver's now lined up, ready to go to battle. Barney has the flag out. Green flag up in the air. We already got somebody out of line. That's Kevin Kyle in the number 1. But he settles it back in. David Owens keeping the lead. He's going to slide up in front of David Medina. And Dante Wright's going to look to try and get onto that outside line down the back straightaway next time by. Looks like we got 2 cars out of the race already that did not start. That's Derek Sellers and Farrell Robbins. As Craig Hawkins is going to be a lap down, I believe. 2 laps down, it's showing. Looked like the racetrack was pretty bumpy for David Owens there through the middle of 3 and 4, but Craig Hawkins is going to be in front of them. So we're going to have early lap traffic here in the race at Chicagoland, as I should probably change it to laps and not time now that I'm seeing it. Right on board with David Owens, so we can see that lap traffic in front of him. But here comes Kyle Lennott. He's going to take the lead of this race and maybe try and use the lap car as a pick to hold David Owens back and make him find a new line. Watch Craig Hawkins. He's going to get into that far outside lane. He's going to try and give these guys a lot of room. And 3 wide action. He holds it good and clean, as we saw Dennis Puckett and Kevin Kyle going at it. Oh, we had somebody up in the wall. I think that's Dante Wright. He got really loose on the outside of David Medina. That was close contact between the two drivers there in third and fourth. See if we can go back and see any of that. Maybe up here. Might be able to see it as they come through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, Medina just starts coming up and almost gets into the quarter panel of Dante Wright. Luckily, there's no yellow there, as now it's showing that Kevin Kyle crashed. Not sure. Oh, he got spin out by Dennis Puckett. And it's showing that maybe Kevin Kyle crashed again. Yeah, he got up into Derek Jacobs. So I believe that's going to be a yellow. So a lot of events unfolding there as we were looking between the contact between Dave Medina and Dante Wright. Unfortunately, Kevin Kyle. See what the car looks like. Front end kind of pushed in, so that's going to be some damage repairs. Along with Derek Jacobs, who's right in front of him. He's probably got some damage there onto the left side of his car. Yeah, that rear bumper kind of pushed in a little bit. And I believe the 10 of Steve Maddox was involved too. He got pushed up into the wall. See a little bit of damage there on the right front. But David Owens, David Buell, Steve Maddox, Chris Morrill, Andrew Halfson, Derek Jacobs, and Kevin Kyle, your ones down pit road to switch up the strategy. David Owens probably going to fill up with some fuel, maybe stay out a little bit longer. As Craig Hawkins is going to get the lucky dog. He's going to go around. Number 19, that's a good-looking paint scheme from Craig Hawkins. But back up front, it's Kyle Lynott who was able to take that lead from David Owens before the yellow came out. Two Fords and a Toyota, followed by another Ford. The first Chevy, I believe, is going to be Steve Maddox there in the 9th position. Or the 10th position, I'm sorry. But right now, the Chevys are almost outnumbered by both Ford and Toyota. Kyle Knott's got a little bit of damage on the right side of his car. Not sure what he got up into. But it should be 2 to go before we reach the green flag. Guess we can try and go back and kind of dissect what happened with Kevin Kyle and Derek Jacobs. So Dennis just got up into Kevin, spun him out. Kevin trying to lock it down and slides up into Derek Jacobs there, who then in turn gets into the 10 of Steve Maddox. We see the front end damage there, but it was fortunately just those 3 drivers who were involved. Still only 2 drivers out of this race, just from the did not start. It's going to be Derek Sellers and Farrell Robbins, the 30 and the 13. But I believe it will be 1 to go here. His car lights are off, so they're going to get double filed to see where Kyle Lynott picks, the top or the bottom. Leader does have lane choice for all restarts. Not the initial start, but for all restarts. I believe Kevin Kyle's just coming out of the pits now, probably trying to get some last-minute damage repaired. He's going to catch up to the field. But we are going to go back racing here on lap 11. And it's going to be Kyle Lynott and David Medina, your front row, followed by Dante Wright and Dennis Puckett, who was involved in that contact with Kevin Kyle. Not sure if there's any tempers fuming. But it'll be interesting to see as Barney's got the green flag back up in the air. He's waving it. Kyle Lynott off to a good start. He was in charge of that restart. So you see Dennis Puckett there up on the top lane, going to have a run down the back straightaway. As second, third, and fourth, you can basically wrap them up in a tortilla. As Dave Medina is going to go to the outside, try and carry that momentum out of the corner. As we go on board with David Medina here, we're going to go right on to the right rear suspension of the car, get you right up close to that wall. So one time I do it, Dave Medina doesn't go up to the wall. But Dante Wright challenging for the lead. Gonna try and get her done in 3 and 4. See, Kyle and I can get to the gas a lot sooner. As Dante had a lift there coming out of the corner. Didn't want to get up into him. As he just slides across the front bumper of Kyle Lynott. Kyle going to cross him over. This is great racing. Kyle going to hold it to the bottom, slide up right in front. Great racing up here for the top 3 positions. As Steven Maddox back there in that 10 who had that damage on the front end, luckily got it fixed. He's looking pretty good and sharp up here, running in that 6th position. Dante Wright looked like he got real tight. He was up at the top of the racetrack. Not sure what happened there. Kyle and I able to do the fastest lap last time around was a 30.59. Be interesting to see what his tires think of that. Now Dante Wright's going to go back down to the bottom. He's going to get alongside, but Kyle Lynott's going to have that run on the outside. Going to throw it down in there to 3 and 4. Run the middle. Interesting call there. He's going to try and hold him to the top. It's across the start-finish line as we're getting a little bit of a haze, it looks like. A little bit of fog cover. Dante Wright just trying to stay on the quarter panel of Kyle Lynott. As Dennis Puckett got around David Medina there for that 3rd spot. See if there's any other battles throughout the field. Looks like Derek Jacobs and Kevin Kyle are pretty close together. Those two involved in that last incident brought out the yellow. Cars look fine. Not sure how they're handling, though. As Dante Wright getting ever closer to Kyle Lamott. Kyle keeps on looking like he's getting tight on the entry of the corner. You see him slide up a little bit. Could cause him issues later in this race. See if he gets up into the fence there. See who's going to try and pinch Dante Wright down there. I believe we do have some haze through here, so it's making visibility a little bit harder to see through. Dante Wright finally going to get the move done out of 1 and 2. It doesn't look like Kyle Lamott is happy about that. He wants to keep that lead. So he dives it off into 3 and 4, hoping to maybe get it to stick. It doesn't look like it does. Having to get out of the gas there. Kyle Lamott on the charge again. It's going to allow Dennis Puckett there in that third spot to maybe get a sniff of the lead. 2 up front running their tires hard. Could open the door for Dennis Puckett and David Medina, who we know can save his tires. As David Buell now up into the mix in that 5th position. He's on the rear bumper of David Medina. As this haze cover is just ruining the visibility of these beautiful race cars. Dennis Puckett, I'm sorry, on the rear bumper of Kyle Lamott. But he's going to have his work cut out of him. He's seen the 2 battling up front. Kyle Lamott didn't want to lose the lead. He's definitely not going to want to lose 2nd place. Dennis got to the quarter panel. Kyle Lamott, whoa, he made contact. Oh, and Dennis Puckett in the wall. We were right on board with him. It's going to bring out the yellow and heavy damage to the front end of Dave Medina. So he loses the whole front bumper. And it looks like there's another car in the wall. I'm not sure who it is. I believe that was the 3 of Andrew Halverson. So go back and watch that through. Dennis just came up. Probably didn't know David Medina was there. Andrew Halverson coming into the caution zone and just clips David Medina in the rear and sends him up into the outside wall. So that's our 2nd yellow here on lap 26. His visibility is not getting any better here in Chicagoland. So you got some drivers coming down pit road. For 4 tires and fuel. So we're going to go to our pit lane camera. See Andrew Halverson. You see that front end all bent up. Both front wheels just pointed the wrong way. It's going to be a lengthy repair there for Andrew. David Owens going into that first pit stall. Is Andrew already out of pit road? Not sure how that's going to work out, as David Buell had to take evasive action there to get around the 3. That's going to move David Buell into that 2nd position. Does look like David Medina is out on the racetrack. So both Dennis Puckett and David Medina out on to the racing surface. Sure what the damage is like. We saw the front bumper off of David Medina, but we don't know what happened to Dennis Puckett. All he had was turned nose into the wall. So it'll be interesting to see if anything's bent on the front suspension or anything like that. But you got a new player in that 3rd spot. That's Chris Morrill there in the number 5. Haven't seen him much this race. Been kind of waiting it out in the back. As the pace car lights are off. Gonna be Dante Wright who's gonna be leading us to green here. But David Buell, new player, running in that front row spot. Pace car down pit road. So it's all Dante Wright in that number 33 Red Bull, as he's going to take the green flag. He's going to jump out to an early lead with Kevin Kyle right behind him. As visibility is way better. Not sure what happened, but it kind of cleared up here. Kyle and I ready to make up some more spots. Maybe there's a differing strategy involved here. Doesn't look like it. Looks like everybody took 4 tires and fuel. But went from running 2nd to falling back all the way to, I believe he started 6th. Kevin Kyle in that top lane. He's going to try and use that outside momentum to catch up to Dante Wright. As David Buell's going to try and battle back here to that 2nd position. He's going to run the bottom. Three wide across the front straightaway. Kyle Anand not wasting any time. They're still 3 wide. As David Buell was just able to clear Kevin by the smallest of margins. Further back, David Owens and Steven Maddox. David trying to find a way around Steve. So it looks like the front end's a little pushed in there for David Owens on the right front. Not sure what he got up into. It's Dante Wright trying to block both Kyle and David Buell from getting a clean run on him. David Beals to the outside. Dante takes a shallow entry that's going to lose some of his momentum. We should see a new leader here out of turn number 2. Buell to the lead. Can he lead this lap, though? It's going to be close on the exit. Buell giving him a lot of room. As now Dante Wright lost 2 positions there to both David Buell and Kyle Lynott. Further back, Dave Medina and Kevin Kyle going at it. Dina, who had to get that front nose back on, he's running in a pretty decent spot there in the 4th position. Oh, it's Chris Morrill up into the fence there out of turns number 2. So we're having a battle up for the lead as this battle's going on between Kyle Lynott and Dante Wright. Just a dogfight up here up front. You can see how bumpy 3 and 4 are up there at the top. See the cars bouncing up there. Dante gonna throw it into 1 and 2 again. Almost made contact on the exit. Right on board with 33. As Kevin Kyle keeps falling back, maybe used up his tire a little too early there. Just falling back to that 7th spot. He was battling up for the lead. But I believe maybe he just pushed a little too hard. Dante Wright really close to Kyle Lynott again. Saw the gap under a 1/10 of a second. Dante Wright going to go to the bottom again, try it out. See that momentum prevail on the outside. Or to the rear of Kyle and I is trying to break the draft there. Trying to play some games here. Dante Wright right up against the wall. We saw the sparks off the front. This car is starting to get tight. David Beal is holding his own up here in that third spot. Colin Ott still playing some games up front, trying to break the draft there. David Beal going to go to the outside of Dante Wright. Cross him over. What a move. Tried to cross him over there. Wasn't able to get it done. I thought he was to the inside there out of 4. Dante is just blocking for his life. Notice those tires are giving up on him, especially that right front, pushing. David Beal was just sitting there saving. So Beal's going to go to the outside again. Oh, it's David Beal up into the wall there. It's going to make him lose a lot of momentum. Doesn't look like there's any damage on David Beal's car. Both Beal and Dante Wright now starting to fall a little bit behind Kyle and I, who was playing those games earlier. Dante Wright's closing in again, mounting up a charge. So I believe Buell has now gone down pit road. It's interesting. They pitted there on lap 26. 55, maybe 30. He's going to try and do the undercut. Not sure what the fuel mileage is here. Here comes Dante right again to the outside of the 988. It's kind of had a lift there. I think they both had to lift. As Dante Wright clears Kyle Anott, it's going to open the door for Dave Medina and Chris Morrill, who are just on their way. 2 seconds behind, but they've been slowly moving this gap to a smaller margin. It's Andrew Halverson's down pit road in the number 3. And we have lost Derek Jacobs there from that last caution. So 3 cars out of this race. Sweet Andrew coming out of the pits right there in front of Dave Medina and Chris Morrill. As I maybe heard somebody spinning, I'm not sure if I did or not. I heard tire squeal. I don't see anything. As Andrew Halverson was slow. Not sure what happened there. We'll have to rewind it. Interesting to see what happened. Oh, just the wheel snapped to the right. Not sure what happened there. That's kind of weird. Luckily, Dennis Puckett was able to avoid it as we saw Dante Wright get up to the fence there. I believe that's going to do it for Andrew Halverson this race. David Medina getting ever closer to the rear of Kyle Anott. Gap there is only 0.6, maybe 0.5 now. It's closing up real quick. So we are at the halfway point. Medina is just starting now to kind of get back into thinking he can win this race. Had that contact with Dennis Puckett there, tore the front nose off of his car. Able to get a new front nose on there, it looks like. One that was already wrapped and ready. Maybe there's some sort of aero advantage to that nose since they already had it wrapped. I have to look for some clear tape underneath that wrap. As we saw Kyle Anott get up to the wall, we knew he was getting tight on entry. Finally, it just gave up on him. Should start seeing some green flag pit stops here shortly that are scheduled. See Dante Wright slow up there on the top. He's just not able to get the speed out of that car like he wants to. Just allow David Medina just to catch up to him and pass him immediately, it seems like. as he's up into the wall again. Dante Wright losing a little bit of handling him within that 33. He's going to force to go to the bottom, put some dirty air on the nose of David Medina. Maybe try and slow him down. Force him to find a different way around. He's going to stay back at the top and get up into the fence again. So now David Medina get right underneath him. Dante going to try and come down and block. Now we've got to fight for the lead. Should see David Medina get it done here through 1 and 2. He's taking it easy on Dante Wright, seems like. Maybe the tires just plateaued a little bit. Chris Smorrell's now in that 3rd spot, but Dave Beal's going to try and get his lap back the hard way by passing the leader. Only about 2 seconds behind the front 2 guys. As they both get up into the wall, the 2 leaders both getting into the wall on the exit of 2. As we almost saw a wreck there between Dave Medina and Dante Wright. Kevin Kyle and David Owens swapping spots back there for the 7th position. Try and catch up to Steven Maddox. I believe these tires maybe plateaued a little bit for Dave Medina. And now David Beal, who's that first car 1 lap down, is just watching this all take place. We're in the seat with David Beal. As we saw Dante Wright down there going towards pit road. So David Beal back on the lead lap here. As we should be seeing Dante Wright come down pit road. So it looks like at lap 71, we got the leader coming down pit road. Interesting to see what Dave Medina does to combat that decision. And what this does for David Buell, he was off strategy there. Pitted early on lap, I believe it was 54. As Kyle and David Owens and Kevin Kyle down pit road for their service. We should be seeing Dave Medina here come in shortly. Dante Wright's going to be that first car 1 lap down. As Dave Medina now down pit road, that's going to leave Chris Morrow out to lead a lap here. No points on the line here, but you do lead a lap, it is a bonus point. So the just 2 that have stayed out is Chris Moore coming down pit road. See if Steve Maddox does here. In that number 10 car as he's getting passed by Dante Wright to get back on the lead lap. as Maddox is now going to come down pit road. Hopefully he wasn't speeding there. It looked like he was coming in with a lot of speed. But that should cycle David Buell back out front to the lead. Over 10 seconds in front of David Medina. Gonna put David Buell short 23 or 21 laps. So Buell will have to come down pit road again. As for David Medina, it's gonna put him 3 laps short. So there should be one more pit stop in the books here. And who knows, maybe Buell has got it cracked on pit strategy. So we got some lights flashing there through one. But Dave Medina and Dante Wright back in striking distance from one another. The battle for D6 between Craig Hawkins and Dennis Puckett are heating up. They've got Andrew Halfson in front of them. And Andrew gets up to the fence there. Back to the second and third spot. These two battling it out. So they're going to go side by side down the back straightaway. Kyle not getting around Chris Morrill there for the 4th position. As long as these two keep battling it out as they got really close there on the exit of 2. Gonna be 41 to go next time around for David Buell. But if these two keep battling it out, this should hurt the tires for the second and third spots as they get really close together. David Medina really battling hard here with Dante Wright. I look over in the Discord, trying to see maybe if these two are... Yeah, they're all in the same Discord series, so I'm not sure if they're happy with one another or they're just racing hard because it's going to be a fun race today. These two racing hard. Buell's last lap there was a 31:51. Dante and David ran a 31:05, so these two definitely faster than the 52. These two definitely not saving fuel. Thinking maybe if David Buell can hold the lead to around lap 99, he could have a good shot to win this race. If it stays green, that is. But with the way David Medina and Dante Wright are racing, there might be another yellow. Dennis Puckett and Kevin Kyle are pretty close together. That's for the 7th position. Ride inbound with Kevin Kyle there in the number 1. Got David Owens right behind too, looking to make a move. David Medina now has kind of taken the lead from Dante right there for that 2nd spot. They're no longer side by side. About a second quicker than David Buell. So with them not racing side by side, that should help David Medina to pass David Buell. Maybe save a little bit of fuel as well. As now Craig Hawkins taking over that 5th position from Kyle Lynott. Kyle Lynott falling back. Not sure what happened there. I think maybe the tires are just worn out for that 988. Dante Wright is coming after David Medina. They're going to go side by side once again down the front straightaway. David Buell's going to come down pit road. Should be good on fuel as I'm doing the math right now. Yeah, he'll be good on fuel. A 32-lap stint there for David Buell. It's now Dante Wright and Dave Medina fighting once again for the lead at this time. But David Buell 1 lap down. Dante Wright just can't quite get to the quarter panel of David Medina. He's holding that momentum strong. He's got to get it up on the door. He's going to have a chance for the lead. I think he's going to lose a little bit of momentum here down on the bottom. We'll have to see. Down the back straightaway they go. It's as close as Dante's Wright been for a pass. He's going to dive it down in there. Had to wait for the car to catch the corner, basically. Get the nose start turning. As Dave Medina just crossed him over, now he's down to the bottom. Dennis Puckett and Kevin Kyle still sitting back there in the 5th and 6th position. Dennis Puckett in that last top 5 position. Lap times been similar between each other. Dennis was 0.2 quicker that last time around. As the leaders are still sitting side by side. So that's Craig Hawkins now in the 19 out of pit road. Dante going to the very top and try and run down the hill. So now they're catching Kyle on not there to put him a lap down. Dante Wright got really close to the quarter panel. Dave Medina almost spun him out. Go to our track map here. See right where David Buell is at. David Buell there just now coming into 3 and 4 as the leaders are coming out of 4. Still some work to do for David Buell if he wants to try and get a lap back in case there is a yellow. Not have to start in the back of the field. But right now, it looks like Steven Maddox there in the 10 is down pit road for his service. It's going to be 24 to go here. I believe that was somebody that got up into the wall. I think maybe it was Dante Wright, slowed down his momentum, but he's going to have Craig Hawkins to his inside in the 19, trying to get his lap back. Be 3 wide there for Dante Wright, trying to stay close to Dave Medina and not let him have an advantage. David Buell, who's on the front straightaway now, start catching up. Dante Wright closing that gap back up to David Medina. Not sure how they're looking on fuel, though. It was close. But they are pulling away from the rest of the field, so I'm going to say they're not saving fuel as much as they should to make it to the end of this race. Laps left to go. Take a peek at where David Buell's at. It looks like he's right behind the leaders. About a second behind Dante Wright, I believe. Kevin Kyle now looking to go a lap down from his teammate, David Medina. Here comes David Buell now on Dante Wright. So this will get his lap back. Dante got up into the wall there. David Buell's hoping no yellow, no yellow. Now David Buell's going to get his lap back through 1 and 2. As David Owens is now down pit road for his service. We're back now. Just changing a few things on SDK. We've lost 4 cars. Steve Maddox has still not come out of the pits. I think he is taking his car to the garage. It looks like David Owens came off track, or went off track. Not sure what happened there. As it looks like he spun out. That's not a yellow, I don't believe. See what caused that. So we're gonna watch here, kind of rewound too far back. As he just got up to the wall and overcorrected the car. It's 12 to go. See if the top 2 have enough fuel to make it. I don't think they do, but I could be wrong. Now it's 11 to go. All eyes on David Buell to see if his strategy worked out for him. There's no battlers right now. Dave Medina there, our actual leader. Sitting about a second behind David Buell. Dante Wright down pit road, so I don't think they have enough fuel, so Dave Medina is going to have to come down at some point. Doesn't look like he's going to go quite yet. Dante Wright getting 4 tires and fuel. Or it actually looks just like right sides. Might be trying to save a finish here. It was a 9-second stop, so... believe it was just right sides only for Dante Wright. Try and get out with some speed. And Medina staying out. Maybe David Medina is going to try to save fuel here now that Dante Wright pitted. On board David Medina, see what he's shutting the car off. Trying to save fuel. This is going to be interesting for the final couple of laps. 7 to go. Can David Medina save enough fuel to make it to the end? Put Dante right on his rear bumper. Lap times have dropped off immensely for David Medina. He's running 32.4s. Dante Wright running a 30.6. He won't have enough laps to catch him. But David Medina can make it on fuel. Four and a half miles left to go in this race. Looks like David Owens is out of this race along with Andrew Halverson. As Dennis Puckett and Kevin Kyle now battling it out for that final top 5 position. It doesn't sound like that car's running. He's out of fuel. He's got to come down pit road. So Chris Morrill may be gonna take the lead here. I'm not quite sure. This has just changed the engine of this race up entirely. White flag is out. Chris Morrill's just got to go one more lap around. Can he make it that far, though? Dante Wright's past David Buell for that 3rd spot. They're 3 and 4. Can Chris Morrill make it? Looks like he can. Chris Morrill running out of fuel at the line's going to win here at Chicagoland. He ran out of fuel right at the start-finish line, or coming to the start-finish line. So lucky enough, was able to cross it and have enough of a margin to keep Dante Wright and David Buell behind. David Buell coming in that third spot, had a decent strategy going. It just wasn't enough to hold Dante Wright back. So Chris Morrill is going to be your winner here in Chicagoland. He's got enough for a burnout. That's all that's important. Giving the fans something, but I think that's all the fuel he had. Yeah, so that's going to be the end of today's race here at Chicagoland. As we go to your results for the race. Chris Morrill, your winner, had a 6 seconds over Dante Wright, 8 seconds over David Buell. David Buell just 2 seconds behind Dante Wright, coming in that third position. Kevin Kyle able to take fourth, Dave Medina fifth, Dennis Puckett coming up short from the top 5 in that 6th position. Kyle and Knott, your first car 1 lap down, followed by Craig Hawkins in the 19. David Owens 10 laps down after that incident out of turn number 2. Andrew Halverson, we had that issue coming out of the pits where the car just turned right into the outside wall. He's 41 laps down. I'm sorry. Stephen Maddox in the number 10, 47 laps down. Derek Jacobs, who was involved in that contact with Kevin Kyle, 94 laps down. And then the 2 that did not start, Farrell Robbins and Derek Sellers in 13th and 14th. As I believe that is going to be the end of today's broadcast. I don't have any interviews to do, so I'm just going to end it off right here. Next week, July 7th, is going to be the season opener here at the Bonfire Racing League at Kentucky for the heat races, or the duels, if you want to call them that, and then the main feature at Kentucky Speedway. Tuesday night's off for the 4th of July weekend, so there will be no Big Truckin' Tuesday, but catch that on the week after. I believe that would be the 16th at Pocono Raceway for the Big Truckin' Tuesdays. So that's it from the Bonfire Racing Network. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and make sure that you guys stay safe out there for the 4th of July weekend. We don't need any drivers losing their hands or feet due to fireworks.